everything to you. If you're going to sell product, you're going to get return in product. If you're going to go and sell services, you're going to get only price for a services. If you're going to build trust, you're going to get everything that a customer can think of and you can actually think of in that. So how do you build trust? What are those practices to build trust? Yeah, I think one doesn't need to go to college to learn those things. You don't go to a college and school to build trust with your wife, your friends, and your mother, father, your brother. You know how to build trust because you're transparent. You think about them first before thinking about yourself. These are very small things to do that. The day you start thinking about somebody else, that's how you respect your parents, you respect your wife or your brother or a sister, because you think about them first. So a lot of people ask me, how do you build trust with the customer? They don't build trust with us so easily. I don't think so. I need to have many answers for that. The same practice you do with your mother, father, brother, sister, whoever trusts you, just do with your customer. The day you develop trust with the customer, you don't have to go after the money. Money will come to you after that. They will be chasing you. And there are many examples I know in the paucity of time and many other things. I may not be able to give a lot of examples, but I know even in this tough time today, there are a lot of advisors who are actually multiplying both the customers and the customer share of wallet on a daily basis, because customer said, boss, if you have to do something, please take away. You are my guy to do that. So I think that's the most fundamental thing. And trust happens because you understand somebody. So please don't spend too much of time in understanding products from people like us. You learn it anyway. Don't spend too much of time on understanding services and research from people like us, because that you'll anyway. You're a good human being, you'll understand that. If you'll spend most of your time in understanding a human, your success will be very, very different in that. Because you spend time with your family and friends, you understand them, that's why you build those relationships. All of us must be having some good friends in life, right? Whom you trust. You say, they are my 4 a.m. friend, 2 a.m. friend, or your parents, or your brother, sister. Because you spend that time, please do that thing, and it's not very difficult, you will realize, because you understand them, you know what will irritate my brother or my friend, what will not irritate my brother or friend. So it's a very simple fundamental practice in life. So today, no need of learning product and services, all of you guys need to know it. Just build that trust and build practices. Whenever you're doing any practice with a customer, understand if that practice is going to happen to you, would you like it? If you don't like it, your customer will not like it. Just do that simple thing. And with time, we all have to change. And you have to build efficiency in a business, because even if you build trust, how do you scale it? So don't ignore technology. Not that I love too much, but the fact is that technology will be most important tool for you going forward from here. And I clearly see a trend where a lot of aggregation of people will really happen, what has happened in many westernized countries. Fortunately, I was very happy when this team came back to me and said, we want to do something like Next Advisors, because I clearly see this trend happening. Individuals have to come back together as a collective strength and ensure that you remain independent, yet you have the power of a huge collective group. And I've been wondering a lot. I said, is it that only I fast, or is it like people like Aditya Birla or Reliance, they will become big? I mean, this country, 1.2 billion people, as I said, we require thousands of such people. And nobody could be better because in your case, there are no single interested party. You are a group of collection of people who will work independently, yet you have got what a large platform could do that. And who has thought, I don't know, I think, and the team who thought about it, my really congratulations to them, because I think we're at least 2 to 3 years ahead of your time right now. Not many people have realized this. So don't lose patience. Sometime you come back and feel that, we're not yet getting what we want out of this platform. But trust me, in 3 years from now, if you ever call me after this, in whatever form, I'll come back and you will take a lot of pride among yourself that this is the future of this business. Clearly aggregation of collective strength and yet independent on that. So I very clearly see that a lot of advisors will getting into a platform. Now it's your choice which platform you want to work. I simply love this platform. Though Birla also runs a platform, because this gives you a lot of independence to do a lot of things which not many platforms allows you to do that. So you are an independent guy, yet doing all those things. So I told the team, whatever I could do in my own limited way, I will always be ready for this platform to do it. I don't have anything else to really talk much about it. If you have something to talk, I'm also a little loss of word. My mind is a little disturbed today. And a lot of things going on in my mind. So I hope you people will excuse me that I'm not come with any prepared speech or a presentation. I just spoke what was coming in my heart and mind. I was not even sure till the time I was sitting here that you're going to call me on the stage to speak something. So excuse me for that if I've disappointed you. But as I said that I love this profession. This is the start of my business. This is the start of the journey of my career when I started with. And as I said, this is the only noble profession which allows you to understand people, not product, not services. And I think you should take pride, enjoy it, build trust with your people, and I'm sure the success would be big success coming in your way. I wish you all the good luck. And if Ramdev is speaking, I will try and stay for some time to listen to his words of wisdom. And would love to chat with you any other time. Anybody wants to chat with me, maybe today is not the right day, but any time, I would love to come and spend time with you guys. Thank you all, and all the best for each one of you.
Very warm thank you to Pankaj, in spite of all his challenges, that he could come down to show his support to us. From all of us to Pankaj.
La parada de tetas.
Thank you very much for all those words and helping us so that we all can have pride in our business, whatever we are doing, and to build that trust and to be more human. Thank you, sir, for all whatever you shared with us. And Ramesh, do you like, please come over here.
Session 1, we can go on the session 1 also. What is the session 1? Explain and we'll start it.
Today, the whole day is divided in 3 parts. And thanks to Next Advisor team for getting this innovative names. The first part is Bazaar. We start the day with Bazaar, and that's the way we start, wherein we talk with the experts and see how the Bazaar is working, how our markets are doing. And then we have Jugaad, wherein we get all innovative ideas and opportunities, whatever is available. And then we find out Naya Tarika in the 3rd phase, wherein we get to learn new ideas and new thoughts so that we can take our business to the next level.
Now it's time to hear from Sri Ramdev Agrawal ji, Joint Managing Director Motilal Oswal, India story and opportunity. Sir, I request you to guide us. See, Nifty was 6055 few days back and INR was 5654. And right now, Nifty is 5654 and INR is 6055. Please guide us.
Yeah, please give a round applause to Mr. Ramdev Agarwal. He is the man behind the strong research team of Motilal Oswal. He is an associate of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, a specialist, and all of us know, and he has been awarded with Rashtriya Samman. And let's all welcome him once again, Mr. Ramdev Agarwal.
Good morning, friends. Pankaj has started the day very well. In fact, I got my lesson right as the word go, and it's a wonderful sight seeing you all here and talking about India's story and thinking big. What is that? Think big and think beyond. So I think the stock market is all about that only. I mean, you buy into the future. Always you buy into the future. Whenever you buy in the stock market, you are only buying future. So I have put some thoughts, and you all are advisors, and you are in the game of creating wealth for your clients. So you know, basically I have put some thoughts. I mean, I can go on about talking about various things, but I have put something which we can kind of. So one of the things which keeps me bullish for last 25 years, and probably it will keep me bullish for next 25 years, is the concept called India, the next trillion-dollar opportunity. So what happens is that I write a paper every year called Wealth Creation Study. So I've done 17 of them. And this was done in 2007. But this concept is one of the most powerful thought when we wrote the paper. And I think it is something which you must try to understand. And that is what drives the market. That is what drives the consumer economy. So what is this India, the next trillion-dollar opportunity? You know, India was a basket case when we got independence in 1947. It was a $10 billion GDP. It took full 60 years to become a $1 trillion GDP, and it became a $1 trillion by 2007. And what happened was that rupee moved from 46 to 43 or 44, and at that point our GDP was about 45 lakh crores. So it became a $1 trillion. We said, let's examine which are the nations, which are the countries, which are the economies which have achieved $1 trillion, and what happens after that. Because the moment a country achieves the size of $1 trillion, it gives a global buying power, which the world notices, and you get into a very iconic club of 8-10 countries. And incidentally, China became $1 trillion in 1998. And nobody knew about China in 1998. And in next 10 years, China became center of the world gravity, growth, prosperity, and everything. Every country has only one opportunity, and it happens for a country like India once in a while. So China achieved that in 1998. By 2008-10, it became center of the world. India has the same opportunity. What happens is that the next $1 trillion comes in 6 years, which is the current year. Hopefully, if we are at 55 to 60, we'll still make it to almost $2 trillion this year. And the third $1 trillion will come in 3-4 years. Now, this is just a mathematics. How does it work? At about $1.2 trillion, you are talking about $1,000 per capita. At $1,000 per capita, your $900 is non-discretionary spend. There's no corporate activity in that. Basic shelter, basic food, basic labor, basic education. But when you move from 1,000 to 2,000, your non-discretionary spend go from $100 to $1,000. And that happens in 7-8 years. When you move, so a linear GDP growth of 7-8% becomes exponential business opportunities for the businesses which are catering to the discretionary demand of the economy. And in last 7 years, that's what we have seen, and that's what we have seen in the consumer spend build up over in last 7-8 years. And that's why even now, consumer economy is holding up. Going forward, in next 3-4 years, in fact, this trend will become even sharper, because what we have achieved in 7-8 years in consumer economy will happen in next 3-4 years. And after that, it will be even more sharper. So what happens is that markets, they are not able to judge which companies are going to benefit. And let me tell you, wealth management is going to be one of the most exponential business which will benefit from this trend. Next slide. This is the total savings. You are catering to the savings management industry. In last 10 years, total savings in the economy was about $2.2 trillion. In next 10 years, it will be anywhere between $10 to $12 trillion. I'll be wrong by half a trillion or $1 trillion, irrespective of the exchange rates. We are going to see $10 to $12 trillion of savings in the economy. Now, this allows massive opportunity for banking system, mutual funds, brokerages, insurance, and most importantly, everything has to be bought with the help of a wealth manager. So people will earn, because this country is not known for spending. This country is known, people who are sitting here, they'll all earn, but they don't know how to spend. We are all first generation people who can only earn, we cannot spend. Only the second generation will spend. So there'll be a massive buildup of wealth, and you will have a wonderful opportunity to build relationship, win their trust, and invest into these products. So I think one of the ultimate sunrise industry is wealth management, and I am quite sure that this industry will go places. Next. India has been rising in the global marketplace very rapidly. Silently, despite all the troubles, we have been rising. In last 10 years, in the global ranking, it has risen by 7 positions. And I'm quite sure in next 10 years, India will be in top 5 markets in the world, in the stock market. So what will happen is, the way the global investing is becoming very global. I mean, you see the kind of inflow and outflow despite all kinds of uncertainties there. So it will become even more integrated in the world. And what it will do is that allocations for India will become much more direct. It will not be ex-Japan, Asia-Pac, 3%, 4%. It will be a mainline allocations to the markets like 7% or 5%, whatever they like. But it will be an integral part of most of the global portfolios as we move into the future. Of course, we need to manage ourselves well. If we do very well in terms of management, maybe what we expect to do in 10 years, we can do it in maybe 5 years, 6 years. But I think the trajectory is very, very clear. Next. Why? See, I'm very prejudiced to equity asset class, because that's what I have done in last 25 years. I don't know about many other asset classes. I mean, there are a lot of, I can see alumni here who can talk brilliantly about debt. They can talk about real estate probably. I mean, there are a whole lot of asset classes, but I know only financial product, that is equities. But I have looked at all the non-reality asset classes, and why an equity as an asset class. Next. See, when you come to invest in the markets, what is the definition of investing? Surrendering current purchasing power to get more purchasing power in the future. This is a very refined definition of investing. Earlier, the definition was to surrender current money to get more money in the future. But inflation is so overpowering in the world that you have to refine the definition, and you are surrendering current purchasing power to get more in the future. So what is your biggest enemy? Biggest enemy for any wealth manager or any investor or saver is the inflation. And more particularly in India, where inflation has been about 8.4%. This is the history of 34 years of inflation. Why 34 years? Because Sensex started in 1978. So we wanted to compare everything with the history of Sensex. 34 years back, if you had given 100 rupees to anybody, it has become 6 rupees. Inflation adjusted is 6 rupees. So the compounded inflation for 34 years is about 8.4%. So the history of inflation is not new. It's as old as the history of India kind of thing. So we are inflationary economy, and we will remain so. So you have to safeguard yourself, your client from the inflation. Next. Inflation adjusted, these are the asset classes: fixed income, bonds, stocks, and stocks including dividend. If you see inflation adjusted, 100 rupees you gave in 1978, bond is where it was. You get nothing. It has just beaten the inflation. The inflation compounded was 8.4, your return is 3-year SBI deposit paper, 8.4%. So you gave 100 rupees, after 34 years also the guy has gained nothing by staying in fixed income. Next is gold. It is about 2.5 times, thanks to recent rally. We have not adjusted for last week's collapse, but till 3-4 years back, it was just with the inflation, and now it is somewhat better, 2.5 times. Stocks have done about